Hello, hello, everybody, and welcome back to the podcast of the Movie Bros, the Movie Bros podcast, the podcast specifically made for the Movie Bros.
Yeah, that was a intro. Um,
Oh,
again, we're
right, you don't have you not seen Emperor's New Groove?
I is the I get the reference. I don't remember the exact wording though, but I get the reference. I didn't immediately think of it. I just thought you were being
The poison to kill Cusco,
yes, yes,
the
yes,
poison chosen
yes.
to kill that poison. Yes,
And again,
I'm,
folks,
I'm.
this is Hayden and Duncan talking about these movies, just in case that wasn't inherently obvious from all of that.
Hey, they're here for our sparkling personalities because the movie we were talking about today has none to offer.
God, dude, just it's got nothing going on.
So, the movie we're talking about today is We're All Going to the World's Fair. This was picked by our randomized picker wheel off of, I believe, my HBO Max watch list. And let me just say, I apologize. Um, I take full responsibility for
Yeah,
putting this into the wheel
how did you
because
even put this on the wheel, dude? A
so
walk me through this.
I saw the like the banner image of her and like the
The toothpaste.
of the main character with the
Mhm.
fluorescent paint on her face, and
I mean, the
the
paint is literally
description made it
toothpaste, but yeah.
sound somewhat interesting. Like I thought it would be like a relatively cheap found footage movie. Sometimes those are interesting. Uh Let me put it this way. It runs an hour and a half and it felt like 3.
Dude, I checked my phone like several times. I'm like, how much is left in this thing? How have I only
Oh
made
yeah.
it? And
Oh yeah.
I watched the first hour, and then I was like, I gotta go do something else. Like this fucking sucks, dude.
I'll be
Yeah.
honest. I skipped ahead several times just to move scenes along.
Yeah.
Like there is
There's.
so little happening on any
Mhm.
given moment.
And it's weird because
One thing I have written down in my notes here is that
mhm.
if you cut out all of the static
Just
camera
staring.
shots where nothing's happening, this would work fine as like a short film. Like
That's
if this was
dude,
like 40 minutes long
I
or
wrote that
half an
too.
hour, it would still suck, but it would be watchable.
I wrote that, this felt like a student film that got too much of a budget or, got too much, mainstream interest where it became more
Possibly.
than it should have been.
I So I didn't recognize anyone
No, me neither.
either in writing, directing, or producing outside of David Lowery showing up in the producing credits. How he got roped into this, I will never understand.
Remind me who that is?
He did a Ghost Story. He did um
Is this a part of the culture that I just don't know about? Because horror and gore and scary, spooky
Ghost
things?
Story is actually a really not a scary movie. It's not a horror movie at all. It's a
Wait,
really artsy movie about a
is that the
ghost
one with the
falling.
ceramics wheel? Or no, that's Ghost, right?
That's Ghost. That's a completely different vibe.
Okay.
So, A Ghost Story is a Casey Affleck movie
Really?
where you never see him. He's under a sheet the whole time, literally dressed as a ghost, where he follows his wife around as she grieves.
Okay.
Like,
That
at
sounds like
least he has
that sounds like a
somewhat.
fun time.
I mean, it's that or Manchester by the Sea. The man doesn't have a whole lot of happy projects.
I mean, there's a new one coming out with him and Ben Affleck that looks pretty fun. It's
Maybe.
it's like the th not to I mean, I feel like it's okay if we get sidetracked because I feel like we're not gonna have a ton to say about this, but it's like a heisty kind of thing with him and Ben and, Matt or no, it's him and Matt Damon, not Ben Affleck. But,
Hmm.
just
I
something
don't
I've
know it by that description, but
either
hey,
way,
maybe we can look forward to that after this.
anything, literally anything.
So this came out in 2021, and it really feels like a pandemic era movie. Like this
Yes, it
feels
does.
like this was made over Skype and about Skype. It
Mhm.
there's I I'm trying to find things to talk about, and there's so
Were you
little
s
substance here.
were you scared at anything?
Not even once.
Yeah, not like, even the like, I would say spoilers, but, like, no one's should go see this anyway, or see this at their no one should pay any kind of time or money to watch this, but, like, the whole video that the dude makes to get her attention, not
Oh,
scary,
where it's just
like
flashing letters?
yeah, like, dude and also, like, a weird dynamic where it's just some random semi middle-aged white dude talking to this, like,
So what I have
young
down
girl.
as, the only vestige of horror in this an hour and a half runtime is that a man in his early to maybe middle 40s is messaging a preteen girl as she's going through clearly some kind of a mental issue. Like,
Yeah.
there's the only amount of quote unquote horror you can find in this entire movie is that he is stalking her. That's it.
Mhm. Oh, and then the end, he's like, "Oh, she reached out a year later, and we're all good." And then the movie ended. I was like, "What the fuck did I just watch?"
Yeah, I don't I expected it to deliver on its premise of, oh, she essentially gets quote unquote possessed by an online video or something like I thought it was gonna be dumb, but at least I thought something was gonna happen.
Yeah, I kind of thought that too. At least when I first even when I just found it on, I think it was HBO Max, whatever. And like even like the description, I was like, okay, like this could be again maybe not my thing, but at least felt like it's a movie that I can watch, kind of thing. But
Oh yeah.
it just was nothing.
So if you had to say anything positive about it at all, what comes to mind?
I mean, hey, at least it's less than 2 hours. Am I right? I was literally, like, trying to go backwards in my head. I was like, "Well, I don't even remember if there was music. The cinematography wasn't interesting. The writing wasn't interesting. The acting wasn't really there. Uh,
Like,
the
she's not
story was not
bad, but she has so little to work with.
sure. The story was there wasn't
What story?
there wasn't really much of one. Um,
So,
but it wasn't so bad that it was, like, actually enjoyable to watch.
yeah,
It just felt like a waste of my time, if I'm being perfectly honest.
yes. So what I have down in likes, I mean, which is like a sentence,
Sure.
is that every once in a while the camera angles look slightly interesting. Like they show that she is isolated and alone.
Mhm.
Like there are some shots where, it's just her walking around um on the side of the road in the woods, or it's her sitting in her room and it's kind of like a pan out, and she's sitting in the middle there and there's nothing around her. It every once in a while the movie delivers on having a tone at all, but that's kind of it. There's nothing else that sticks out of me as, oh, okay, that was something that wasn't bad.
Mhm. It felt very it felt like there wasn't a whole I mean, and I hate to say this kinda stuff because I feel like even just to make any movie, it takes a lot of hard work from a lot of different people, no
I don't
matter
feel like
how
this
s
took hard work.
that's the thing, I was like, it felt like it felt like there was no love or, like, dedication in p making the movie.
No. So what's interesting is that this same director, Jane Schoenbrunn, I apologize if I'm mispronouncing their last name, also put out another movie this past year called
Mhm.
I Saw the TV Glow
And
from A24.
yeah,
So I haven't watched that. If it's anything like this, I probably won't watch it. But
supposedly, they said it's a
if
trilogy.
it's a trilogy
They're not
connected
co
to this.
hold on, they're not connected, but, like, they're all kind of centered around all the same kind of, like, online ideas, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's kind of the vibe I got from at least that other movie's trailer. It
The
also
at
looked
least
really slow,
the other one at
really
least
heavily in
I th
colors.
mhm. I was about to say, I was like, at least the other one
The
looks
the other one
like
looks like it has more budget.
yes, for sure. Like, I think there's a couple not big names, but bigger names. It looks at least semi
Justice
interesting
Smith is probably the
cinematography-wise,
biggest name in that.
which I I know he's a bigger name. I don't like him as an actor. I don't think he's a good actor at all. But,
Oh, Justice Smith?
I can't stand I don't know what it
No,
is, I
I don't
can't
like him
stand
as an
him.
actor either. He plays the same character in every movie. The he plays the doormat with no confidence, and he spends the entire movie, you know, begging for acceptance from other people. It's every single
Mhm.
thing he's in. I get
Even
that some people are
even things
typecast. That's not a role I
sure.
wanna watch.
No, not really. Maybe it's a character you might need in certain movies, but, like, I don't know, just
Sure, like,
yeah.
so when he shows up in the Dungeons& and Dragons movie
I
playing the
was
same
just about to
character,
say,
that's
yes.
okay because
Mhm.
he's not the main character.
Sure.
That's alright.
Like
I feel like if I had to spend 2 hours with that character alone, I I I would be more angry than I am now having just watched a different movie. Like, that would be infuriating.
did you see, Detective Pokemon or Pikachu? What Jesus, Detective Pikachu?
Detective Pikachu? No, I have not, but it looked interesting. I've never been into the whole Pokemon thing.
Well, me
We were
neither.
kind of raised outside of the phenomenon, so I don't really understand it. Like, I don't get the appeal of it that much, so I
Well,
kind of landed on the side of, this isn't for me. I probably won't watch this.
it wasn't for me, but, like, there are parts of it that were cool, but he's the main character, and it totally fucking ruins it.
Let me guess, he's playing the same character, right?
More or less, yeah, exact same character.
Yep, that's
Yeah.
unfortunate.
Yeah.
So what would you rate this gem of a movie?
I think I gave it a 1 out of 5, and that was generous.
Yeah,
I
I
would have
gave it a 1 out of 5, and it's just boring.
I would have probably given I mean, I could have given it worse, like a point 0.5 out of 5, but I don't know.
I think this would work, 1, as a short film, and 2, not as a horror film. I think this was if this was a movie about how lonely people can be preyed upon, as it were, uh, by the internet, I think it would be at least be slightly more interesting because that's essentially all that's actually happening in this
Mhm.
movie. There's no
Pretty much.
supernatural anything. There's no, there's no demon. There's no, nothing's out to get her the whole movie. It's just her being lonely and depressed online.
Yeah, I can agree with that for sure.
Like,
Did
if
it
this was a short drama, maybe. Like, I would still find it kind of boring, but at least it would make more sense.
the
To have
weird
this
thing
sit in the genre of horror makes it disappointing.
Mhm. The weird thing is, like, looking online, like, a lot of people, like, it's like, even, I've seen stuff where it says, like, it received critical acclaim. Like, what the fuck? Why do people like this? I don't get it.
I've so when I was grabbing some of the slight information for here off of Internet Movie Database, lots of the reviews were either I'm a paid critic and I want to say that this is interesting and new and avant-garde, or I'm a regular person and I fell asleep in this movie. It's not good. I
Mm.
think the people who are giving it critical acclaim are trying to claim it's more artistic than it is.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, so there are some slight references and nods to like creepy pastas on the internet and things that were at least more noticeable back when the Slenderman hype was at its peak in like the early
Mhm,
2010s.
mhm.
And I think that might be what it's trying to reference, but it never lands. Like it never is I can point to that and say, oh, that's what this is about. It's just, it's slow for the sake of being slow. It's not slow for the sake of an atmosphere. It's slow for the sake of I want to waste an hour and a half to say I've made a movie and not a student film.
So looking into the director who wrote and produced it, uh, she was a production assistant on short films for the Safdie brothers. You know the Safdie brothers.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
Oh, yeah.
so at least that's kind of what their background was.
Which
But
is that it?
um, it looks like they made a Slender Man movie in
Yeah,
2018,
that tracks.
or
That tracks hard.
it's a documentary. Excuse me.
I
As
mean,
told,
still, that makes
hold on, listen
a
to this.
hell of a lot of sense.
Listen to this. They made their directorial debut in 2018 with the documentary A Self-Induced Hallucination. The film centers the narrative of the fictional horror character and internet phenomenon Slenderman as told through a found footage compilation of existing YouTube videos. Ugh. That's, I
Yeah,
mean,
that makes a hell of a lot of sense because that's what I would say a good 40% of this movie was just the characters watching other YouTube videos,
mm-hmm,
like in-universe YouTube videos, not
mm-hmm,
not real ones, but like,
yes.
yeah, I again make it a short movie, make it a drama. This isn't scary.
Who would you recast if you could recast someone?
I don't even know if it's the cast that's the problem, honestly. Like
No, see this I'm like, oh, just
the actress,
sprinkle some
the actress
William
does
Dafoe in here.
okay. Well, okay, so I don't think I would recast it as the script currently stands. I think if
Well,
you were to
sure.
push it into a more actual supernatural horror thing, then yeah, the older guy messaging her, make him William Dafoe. But as it is, him being just kind of a normal, no-name guy fits with the movie as it is. It doesn't.
Sure.
It's not interesting enough to get larger names.
That's fair.
And that's kind of. I mean, I think what my main problem is with this is that it's so lacking of substance. It doesn't even become like bad in a way that's entertaining. It's just bad because I feel bored. Because
Mhm.
I love bad horror movies. I like bad cheesy movies. That is my jam. This doesn't actually get there because for it to be cheesy, something has to have happened.
Yeah, there's not really much to
Like
pick
it,
apart
it's
because there's not much to start with.
no, which is interesting because I would say that on a plot basis, the last movie we watched of Deadpool and Wolverine is also pretty thin,
Oh, yeah. There's not
but
much to
there's
talk about,
more
but I
going on in general.
yes.
This is
Yes.
pretty thin,
Granted,
and there's nothing accompanying it.
it also helps, though, that you and I are comic book and, like, other superhero movie fans to help discuss Deadpool and Wolverine on our previous episode. Just
This is fair. This is fair. So I feel like I've done some angry rambling. Would you like to interject anything of your own?
I mean, you're not saying anything that I haven't already either said or thought, to be perfectly honest. Um, Let me think backwards. I'm looking at some stills from it to kind of get inspiration for talking points. Yeah, I'm a sucker for neon, and that's why when I first looked at this, I was like, oh, like just the still, like the cover photo. I was like, this could be something.
That was my
Um,
thought too. I'm like, okay, this might be interesting, and that's why I added it.
and when the movie first opens and it's her like very first starting in her room that's like completely lit from front to back, and there's kind of some cool lighting, I'm like, okay, might be something, and just ended up not. Um, yeah, that was a bummer, I would say. Um, I would say
Yeah, I just
I hope this. the spinner
It's
picks something much better, but we're just gonna have to find out. It has
again,
not been a great
on that
week
topic.
for Okay, just go ahead and cut me off. Go ahead, go ahead.
I I apologize. I was just going to say, as a reminder to our listeners, we have a spinner which randomizes our movie topics. If you would like to suggest something, so we don't get subjected to something like this again, you are more than welcome to send it in on any one of our social media pages.
You
So you're saying
My
this was
turn?
a bad week for
My
movies?
turn? My turn?
Yes.
Okay.
Your turn. Your turn.
Oh, thank you, thank you. No, just I watched this. I had
Anytime you're
never
ready.
s Oh, thank you. I
Go right ahead.
appreciate that. Kill me. Okay, I watched this. I watched the Fantastic Four with Miles Teller and Kate
Oh,
Mara
you
and Michael
watched
B.
Fan Four
Jordan.
Stick?
I've never seen it, and it's really fucking like, I have more to say about that than this. Even though
Oh,
it's
trust me.
like, I think
I watched the David Harbour Hellboy. I am right there with you on levels of crap.
Yeah, but see, those movies, you actually have something to say. There's nothing to say about this.
I mean, to be
And
fair,
then I
this would
also
be
watched
dramatically improved if Hellboy shows up.
Yeah, sprinkle in some Hellboy, sprinkle in some Fantastic Four, why not?
Sprinkle in some anything? I mean,
Yeah, any kind
it's
of
like we're
interest or
eating flavorless tofu.
yeah, pretty much. Either way, it's just been I'm very much looking forward to seeing something that's not shit, if I'm being honest.
It's true. That's true. Speaking of, I'm looking forward to Alien Romulus on Friday. I'm super pumped. I love me some Alien. The
Ugh.
reviews of it are all really good so far. I am super hype. I know you're not, but
I could
trust
not
me, I
give
am really
less of a
excited.
shit. Have you seen any of the stuff from
Well,
like the opening night where they uh have like the little face hugger things around the audience and like
yes.
like
Yeah, those are
stuff popping
cool.
out of people's chests? Like it is
Yeah, that's
I
cool.
appreciate I appreciate the fan like commitment for that kind of stuff. That's really cool. The movies themselves, I just I liked Prometheus because it wasn't just a like, this thing is gonna jump out and get you kind of movie. I don't know, it felt
I like
interesting.
Prometheus too, but I almost wish
Electric Boogaloo?
Prometheus was a separate I almost wish Prometheus was a separate intellectual property. Like I wish it didn't
Sure.
have anything to do with Alien because the more
Yeah,
they tried to tie it in to the lore and it didn't make any sense, but Ridley Scott doesn't surround him with people who tell him no anymore, so he just kept making them.
yeah, I mean, there are some of his movies that I really like, and there are some that I don't. I never saw House of Gucci, which, it doesn't
I don't care enough about that topic to watch it.
exactly. I was like, who why make this? Like, where's the interest? I don't understand. I don't know. So that's coming up for you? Okay.
Oh
Did you?
yeah.
Because I have not had a chance to watch it. Did you wanna give rough feedback on Twisters since you saw that?
I swore we saw that together, did we not?
No, Hayden, we did not.
Oh, I'm so sorry. We watched the original one. Um,
Yes.
I would say that it is
Don't say spoilers
100%
because I would like to see it at some point.
okay. A spoiler-free review is that it is the same movie, just updated in every way. Like the cinematography is so much more interesting. You're right there in the middle of the weather. You are in the cab with these people. You're running around and driving through the tornadoes. That's really cool. The characters, in my opinion, are so much more likable. Nothing against Bill Paxton, but he's not Glenn Powell. Like he doesn't
Well,
have
Glenn Powell
the
is
Glenn
again.
Powell level of charisma.
I feel like Glenn Powell is like this generation's Tom Cruise, where he's got that
Maybe
like
I
just
could see it.
untapped like charisma kind of thing where you can kind of do almost anything and maybe he's not fantastic, but he's always likable, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and that is definitely true here. Um, Daisy Edgar Jones, the other lead,
Oh, she's
is
so cute.
super
Dude,
likable.
she's a babe.
She's adorable, and that definitely comes across here. I don't know, man. I think if
I'd
you
like to
like
see it.
Twister in 1990, whatever it was, 92, 98, something.
Something like
Um,
that.
if you liked that, you will enjoy this because it's the same movie just with nicer effects and larger budgets. I would say
Okay.
it's good. I would watch it again. Um,
I'd
also,
like, if possible, I'd like to see it in a theater, but I don't know if it's still playing anywhere. I have to look.
I would recommend you see it in the theater
I
because
mean, it seems like
so
the kind of
I
movie to
shelled
see.
out to watch this in Dolby Cinema, and the sound, the actual like cacophony of noise
Mhm.
that they output through for like the storm scenes,
Sure.
it's incredible.
Yeah,
Like
I
I
bet
could
it
feel
is.
my seat shaking when we were watching some of those scenes. Like it definitely deserves to be seen in a theater if you can.
That's fair. Any other movies coming up that you're interested in besides Alien or Alien Romulus, whatever?
I am not interested in it, but I know Dad is interested in watching Borderlands for whatever reason, and he would like to
What?
watch that with us.
Oof.
I don't understand if
I
this is a
mean,
punishment of some kind,
I would
as
say I'm not paying
I've
for it,
heard
is what I would
nothing other
say.
than it is awful.
Which is sad because I like
I'm
several of the
sorry?
people in it. It's sad because I like a lot of the people that are in it, but it doesn't look good.
Yeah. I really love the
Like, I
Borderlands
like
games.
Kate
I
Blanchett,
own
I
all 3 of
like.
them, and I recently replayed the first one, like 100%ed it all the way
Mhm.
through. Every single person in this is miscast. Like, they're all good in their own right. They don't belong in this movie. It's so weird.
It is kind of a weird hodgepodge
Other than
mess.
that,
It
I
feels
can't
it
think of anything
I
that's
mean, it
coming up that I'm,
feels like a
like,
mess.
really raring to go watch.
Maybe not, I mean, just not
Oh,
raring to
you cut
go
out there
because,
for a
like,
moment.
am I still there? Can you still hear me?
Oh, yeah, 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 sorry.
Hayden?
Yes, go right ahead.
Okay. Just checking. Yeah, this
Can
is
you not
why I
hear me?
have a new mic. Oh god. This is why I have a new mic coming in the mail, so most likely, folks, for the next, recording, this will probably be next week, maybe Wednesday, because I think that's sounds like it's gonna be probably the best day for our schedules going forward, but, yeah, hopefully, maybe more consistent
Yep.
audio.
Record
Either way,
Wednesdays, post Thursday morning-ish.
I mean, I just as soon as we post it, so either way,
Well, we could do some
uh,
editing, it wouldn't hurt.
if you wanna edit, you're more than welcome to.
We can discuss that off air. So you were saying that maybe you're not really, like, chomping at the bit to go see this, but there was something that's coming up for you?
Oh, you're not super excited to see The Crow with Skarsgård and FKA
I
Twigs? God, I don't think it looks good.
I've
I think it
seen the
looks
original Crow.
terrible.
I it the original Crow never impressed me. This one doesn't look like it'll be interesting either. I am probably gonna skip it.
Did you see the trailer for Blink Twice?
I've seen several trailers for Blink Twice. I don't know if it's gonna be good yet. It might be
I don't know.
interesting.
I think it could be good.
Not that I wanna be like, "Oh, I'm gonna wait for corporate reviews to come out," but, like, I don't know yet. Like, it's an interesting premise. It depends on how well, Channing Tatum can hold up a non, you know, 21 Jump Street-esque comedy.
Boy's gonna make a name for himself.
Okay, but yes, and his name is Jeff.
I saw a thing where like, oh, this generation he was Jeff, this generation he's Gambit.
Well, we can ramble back and forth a little bit longer. Well, and the generation before that, what was he? Magic Mike.
I mean, I feel like he was Magic Mike throughout it. Or no, he did not Magic Mike. What's the other dancing
Well,
that he
I think we
did?
wrap up this episode.
Step Up or something? Why? It's only been 29
Was
minutes.
he in the Step Up movies?
Yeah. Yes, wasn't he? I mean, I thought he was.
I think if we're trying to talk about Channing Tatum trivia, we maybe call it a day.
Did you watch the trailer for Wolves?
Yes, we've talked about this already.
Oh, okay. What about Greedy People?
I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry, what now?
Greedy People, Hayden?
Greedy People?
Yes.
No, I don't know what that is.
It's a crime comedy. Lily James, a babe, and Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and one of the guys
I
from
do like me some
Taskmaster.
Lily James.
I recognize his face, and hold on. God, what is this guy's name? It's Lily James, Joseph
Describe him.
Gordon-Levitt, Tim Blake Nelson. Oh, I found it. It's Himesh Patel. He wasn't he from no
Oh, yeah,
he's from
yeah.
Yesterday, the Beatles movie. Jim Gaffigan's in it.
Yes.
Follows the
It's a
residents of a small
interesting
island town who
collection of
must
people.
navigate a sensational murder and the discovery of $1 million, a series of increasingly upend the once peaceful community. It looks like a fun little like thrillery murder stuff,
Could
but
be.
a lot of comedy, I think. So that looks like a fun one. Just thought that's
Yeah, it
coming out at
might
the
be.
end
I
of the
guess we'll
month.
have to wait and see.
Sure, I'm not like chomping at the bit to see it, but I'm trying to find things to actually have any kind of interest at all, because I feel like I don't know. I feel like it hasn't been I think part of this is the writer's strike, but I feel like it hasn't been a great movie year generally. Like there's been real good things, but there hasn't been a ton of stuff I've really loved.
I don't know if I would say it's been a bad
Would you
movie
agree?
year. I think it's more so that
I wouldn't say bad, but just like there's been a few things, but
I think it's more so that there aren't as many things being released. Fucking Jesus, Duncan. You can't ask me a question, then I start talking and then you cut me off while I answer.
hold on, I think we're on top of each other again.
We definitely are.
Well, that seems like a good spot to wrap up then.
All right, well, why don't we bring out the old randomizer wheel? You can spin that and it'll hopefully give us a better selection for next week.
It has landed on. It has landed on Challengers, which is the tennis movie that came out, I think, last year.
Okay. How would
that's the
I?
choice.
All right. Well, I'll find a way to be able to watch that.
We'll figure it out one way or another. All right, I will hide this choice so we cannot choose it again. And now there's only 91 choices to go.
Well, folks, we will see you next week for a chat about tennis, Zendaya, and the two British guys.
The two rat face boys, yeah.
I didn't want to put it like that, but yes.
Well, isn't that like a term almost of endearment? I mean, we'll talk about it like then, but isn't it like a term of endearment now to have like a rat face boyfriend or something?
I think if I think if I had a girlfriend and she introduced me to her friends as the rat face boy, I would take that as an insult.
I would too. No, I've seen stuff recently where the younger generation is calling it like the rat boyfriend summer or some shit like that. I don't fucking know. Either way, that's what we're watching,
I think
folks.
you mean brat
Ugh.
summer because
I
I am down with the kids.
I'm about to say, I was like, okay,
Um,
maybe don't ever say that again, Hayden. Jesus Christ. This
how
is
do you
like
do, fellow young people? Listen to our
no,
podcast, yo.
sounds like To Catch a Predator. Like that host guy's gonna come out with a camera crew and like sit down with you. Like, why do you think we're here,
Hey, hey
Hayden?
now, hey now, hey now. I don't like this line of joking. Let's not do this.
All right, find us where you listen to all your podcasts. Usually, I think it's Spotify. We'll see you all next Wednesday. This has been the Movie Bros, Hayden and Duncan. We'll post about the upcoming stuff on our Instagram. Anything else to add, Hayden, before we get the fuck out of here and not get arrested for what we say?
No.
And we're out.
I'm trying to. I was just thinking about the movie we just watched, and it's just boring. Anyway, be better next time because at least we'll have something.